The Navigating Disability podcast often discusses topics including disability, injury, mental health, and mentions of sensitive issues such as trauma and suicide. Listener discretion is advised. Please take care while listening. Welcome to Navigating Disability. Today we're joined by Natalie Terry Bedwell, a powerhouse mum of 7 children, 4 of whom live with disabilities, and the founder of Honoured Social Enterprise Gym. Natalie's journey as both a mother and advocate has given her deep insight into the realities of caring, inclusion, and building strength, both physically and emotionally. Through her gym, she's created a space where people of all abilities can come together, feel valued, and be empowered. Join us as we talk with Natalie about family, resilience, and how lived experience can spark change and community. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you. It was beautiful. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, I am going to preface this with Natalie and I are very good friends and we've been a long time. I worked it out the other day. I think it's something like 10, 12, 13 years.
It has to be close. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a long time. So I'm really thankful for you coming on this podcast. I can't wait to talk about Honoured Social Enterprise, as well as Infinitely Valued, which I didn't mention in the introduction, which is your charity. But first off, I want to talk about you. The other thing I didn't mention is that you've also been diagnosed with ASD and ADHD and so forth. So you have not only the lived experience of disability, but also the caring responsibilities. Tell me about your life. Tell me about your day-to-day with 7 kids, 4 with disabilities.
Actually really scary when I hear you say it like that, but it's not that scary.
The way I see you on a daily basis, you've got it all under control.
We are a well-oiled machine, but it is a process to be a well-oiled machine. It just doesn't happen naturally. And I guess the big thing too is having 7 children, we grew into that role. We never just woke up with 7 children. So we had a chance to adjust and adapt and things like that. But yes, you're right. I was diagnosed with autism and ADHD probably about 5 years ago. Through my children being diagnosed, like most mums, sitting there in the room hearing it and going, oh, yeah, that's me, that's me. But I did always know that I was different. And I really, even today, struggle with female friendships and complexities. I was born in England, so I moved to Australia when I was 7. And that was why I always thought I was different. I never kind of fit in with Australian society. There were things that I found complex, but I kept thinking, oh, maybe that's because in England we did it differently. So it was really interesting when my 3rd daughter, I used to work at Kids Helpline, and she was about 2 at the time. And I remember being on a phone call with a mum. So as part of Kids Helpline, you're on Parent Line as well. Being on a phone call with a mum, and this mum was describing her child and some of the things that she was seeing. And I instantly said, I feel like your child might have autism, because that is exactly what we see in one of our children. And we're just about to start the process for having a diagnosis. And both of us, it was a very powerful moment for the mum and myself in kind of having that connection and just having that moment together of sameness, where I had spent a long time not having that. Even parenting my 3rd daughter, and after three girls, you kind of think, oh, they're all the same, but absolutely not. So that was a very powerful moment for us. But then fast forward it to baby number 6, and he was born with Down syndrome. During our pregnancy, we were deemed, and I hate this term, high risk for a child with Down syndrome. We didn't do any further testing. So the moment that he was actually born, my husband and I looked at each other and said, oh, yes, he does have Down syndrome. Everybody in the room didn't agree with us at the time. But 24 hours later, I asked for the paediatrician to come and meet Archie and see Archie, and he absolutely agreed. So then we went through the testing process, and about 6 weeks later, he was officially diagnosed with Down syndrome. And he's gone on to also be diagnosed with autism and ADHD, because that's pretty much our household as well.
As your first daughter, your third daughter was diagnosed with autism, did you know what autism was at the time?
I feel through working at Kids Helpline, I did. Prior to that, I didn't. But working at Kids Helpline, we had access to resources. I would have lots of conversations with people. So I was becoming a lot more aware. Although I very now, at the moment, I think that she got diagnosed, I can see lots of traits in family members and intergenerational things. And then obviously myself.
And how did your family develop with the caring role of you've got your two first daughters, and I'm going to use the term that are normal and life's going along nicely, and you're, bringing up to the family life is considered normal. How did that change when your third daughter came?
Um, it didn't change until she was probably about 18 months. And then we noticed that she would parallel play. So we were observing lots of things like that, lots of meltdowns and frustrations and things. Her sisters were very, very in tune with her, which now that they're a lot older, they joke and talk about things that they intentionally did to bait her and to create some behaviors. Um, but I guess her diagnosis changed us and not her. So it just gave us some information that we were able to better parent with. Siblings, we could have a big talk to them and help them understand things. But since then, obviously, it's been a huge journey into those two young children that we're talking about are young carers. And then we've gone on to have more children and the caring role in the household for people who don't have disability. And some people do have disability in the caring role. It's been really huge. Just that next level of we are a bit of a village. We do rely on each other. That's kind of human nature. And just the expectations on young people in the home to then go out into the world and just be able to navigate and manage the world where nobody knows what's happened in their household in the morning. Nobody knows what anybody's dealt with behind closed doors. And that's something that I'm really mindful in creating the spaces that we've created.
Did you ever go through a grieving process where your life is not going to be what you thought it to be?
Absolutely. And I think that's an important part of a journey. Um, we've lost friends, we've lost family because their values didn't align with ours. Um, when you have a baby, the society projects onto you about what the pathway for your baby's going to be. So I absolutely think it's an important part to have, we use the term kind of have your pity party. That pity party can go on as long as it needs to, but you need to then put your big girl pants on and get back out into the world. And it's a very important part of the process.
I love that. How did the older girls go with having children with siblings with a disability?
Um, given the personalities of our children, it's been an absolute blessing. I'll talk about Archie particularly when he was born in 2015, so 10 years ago. So many people, medically, we were told to terminate our pregnancy when we were deemed a higher risk pregnancy and things like that. He was devalued from the moment he was conceived. But it's been such a beautiful journey. And so many people said you should have taken those terminations and things when he was a baby. And we were getting all this negative information about he won't be able to do this, he won't be able to do that. And you've seen him, you've met him, you know that that's not true at all. But it's been a wonderful journey for his siblings. It's taught them compassion, empathy, tolerance, just understanding.
Oh, he's an absolute beautiful boy, and I know our family and my children have built up such a lovely relationship with him, and it's exposed them to something that they probably hadn't been exposed to before. Tell
And that
me
was,
about sorry, go on.
no, I was going to say that was likewise for us. Even when he was born, both of us kind of went, do you even know someone that has Down syndrome?
Mm.
So we went and did research and then heavily connected in with the Down syndrome community and things like that. But it's been an amazing journey, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I get very passionate on my social justice pathway about, people with disabilities.
And you have done so much for Archie. Like, he wouldn't be where he is today without the early intervention that you've done. How has this journey changed or shaped the way you see inclusion, community, and resilience?
It was absolutely Archie's birth that was the life-changing moment for me. Even though we had two other children that were diagnosed with autism and ADHD before Archie was born, it was him having a visually recognizable disability and seeing how the world treated him differently. Even when you say the word Down syndrome, people automatically have a preconceived idea, which is so outdated. So having him has been one of my biggest life-changing moments. And I was always anti-tattoos. And I remember going to get a tattoo shortly after he was born because it changed my worldview. So I'm very, very big and passionate about changing the lens of people with a disability and just society's acceptance. It's part of the human condition, just normalizing that we are all so different. We all need different things at different times. I even joke in my household and get a little bit sarcastic and say, if we're ordering Uber Eats, guys, we're making a reasonable adjustment tonight. Mum can't be bothered cooking. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. We're getting Uber Eats. And my household's like, oh, Mum, stop. Yeah.
It's so important to have that humour. What has been some of the greatest challenges of being a carer while also raising such a large family?
The biggest thing, and I completely believe that carers are the backbone of our systems and our services. And without unpaid carers, Australia would be in a very, very dire situation. So for me, the challenges have been systemic things. You know me with my social justice things and battling and things, but carers just are so overwhelmed. I just remember the times when, particularly when I said about Archie before, with his waiting the 6 weeks for his official diagnosis to come through, and then thinking, who do I need to contact? What do I need to do? Like already mapping and planning and then getting to appointments that I had waited months to have the appointment, thinking that was going to be the be all and end all, and I was going to get all these answers and all this support and everything was going to be fine. And then leaving those appointments feeling even more confused and often isolated and alone and not knowing who to turn to. And whilst I have a fantastic husband and a fantastic family who's super supportive, I feel when you're in the mum role particularly, there's so much internal thoughts that happen. And it's waiting, it's that, not knowing what's coming next or where to turn next. And it's constant. There's no break, there's no breather. Even my shower is my safe space. And now that my children are old enough to go, Mum's just going to have a shower, I need to have a shower by myself. Please stop coming in, talking to me, all of that. But when they're younger and they're constantly coming in and I just wanted to escape for a few minutes, okay, I'll just go for a shower. And then all these little fingers are coming under the door. And it's kind of that. There's no break from it. It's 24/7.
Talking about being a carer, they often put their own well-being last. How do you find time to look after yourself?
I've had to create time. I've had to change my mindset into not seeing it as being selfish. When I say that, I still see it as being selfish sometimes, and I can't fully relax into things that I'm doing. But it's very much about realizing that it's, in the airplane, put your own air mask on first. Because as I said, I do believe that we are the backbone, and we have phenomenal, like the NDIS with all its flaws is an awesome service. However, then we're relying on other people who don't have that deep investment like we do for our loved ones, and who will cancel a point, like, support workers, you're waiting for a support worker to turn up and then, oh, I can't get there. That's our lifeline as an unpaid carer. Sometimes we're hanging out for that moment, whether it's to take someone to their appointment, whether it's so that we can go and have a shower, so that we can do those things. And when you don't have that deep investment and that deep understanding of what that, for someone who's just cancelling a work shift, that can really impact on someone's well-being. That can really impact on someone's, not just someone, it can be
Sometimes
a
it's their lifeline.
whole family. Absolutely.
They're hanging for that shift just to get that
Absolutely.
hour break.
Yeah.
What do you wish more people understood about the caring role?
I feel, as I said, systems and employers, organisations, I wish that they knew how exhausting it is. There's not many, again, a little bit like support workers that we mentioned before, who fully understand what it means, employers and things. So I wish that there would be more awareness, more just compassion for humans, compassion to know what people are going through, and making it a safe space for people to be able to ask for help.
Tell us about on gym. Why did you start that?
So I started on a gym because we were spending, my husband and I, having 7 children, as you mentioned, some with diagnoses, disabilities, complex needs. We were spending a lot of time sitting in waiting rooms. And we hit 40, we were doom scrolling on our phones, sitting in waiting rooms. We started personal training for our own well-being. Then it became a family event, and we had our teenagers involved, and it was just this healthy competition about who could lift this, who could outdo this, and then the next day we'd all be complaining about our muscles aching, and it just created this beautiful connection between us all in a different way that we had never done before. And then it led on from there. So obviously having a counselling background, I truly believe in young people. And so we've created a space, a gym, just so happens to be a gym, where people can come, and so we have a carers train free incentive. That was our absolute first incentive because we believe so strongly in care, unpaid carers, and how we've created on it. But it's a safe space for families, young people, people with disabilities, just a boutique gym to come and form connections with each other, focus on their health and well-being, working out. Yeah.
And we've thought about, we're working on a course together, Nurture the Carer course, which we're offering in term 4. How does this program, what does it look like, and how does it support carers, and why is it important for us to do something like this?
I think it's hugely important because the term in itself, nurturing the carer. Carers are always the nurturers. They're always the ones that are giving 100% of themselves and 100% of the time. It's not often that they have opportunities like this. So the course is, it's 8 weeks?
8 weeks.
8 weeks, and it's about having connections. It's focusing on well-being. There's access to the gym, some counselling, making connections with other carers, information sharing, and giving back to the people that give so much of themselves.
How
So-
can
Sorry,
sorry,
Kate, I've
go
stepped
on.
in late because I was caught up on a phone call. Sorry, sorry, now being so late. I'm generally on time. Can I just ask, what part of the course resonated most with your own caring experience?
Whole course. I'm all about well-being. I'm very much, I've got my Let Them shirt on underneath my.
That's a good book. That's a good.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm very much about the world is so fast, demanding, all of that. There's lots of judgment, there's lots of negativity in the world. So I very much believe in well-being. And as I spoke about to Kate before, the caring role is 24/7. Often we're forced into caring roles with no other options. We're quite isolated in today's world as well. The social media is fantastic for some things, but it's having that human connection. It's that coming together with each other and having community around you. It's building the community of people who understand you. It's your exhale moment of, when you've had that really deep conversation with someone who just gets it.
What message would you share with other carers who might be thinking about joining the program? Why should they join the program?
I don't think there's enough support for other carers. And that's the big thing is it's start to find your tribe. It's start to find the people who get it. It's finding ways to implement little bits of self-care into your everyday. And these are things that we're going to be covering off on, having some tools and having some resources and invest in your own health and well-being. That's probably the big thing is finding time, creating the time for the things that are important because you need to fill your cup before you can fill other people's.
Yeah. I think that's super important because we all forget that. As mums, as any parent, grandparent, whoever's got that caring role, we forget ourselves in the whole process.
Absolutely.
What are your hopes for the future, Nat, both for your children with disability, yourself, your family, and then obviously for the disability community?
I just need a magic wand.
Unlimited funds would be nice.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. So, my hope for the world is that, and I really dislike the term minority groups, but my hope for the world is that disability forges ahead the way other minority groups have, and that society becomes more accepting of the human condition. And we talk about inclusion, and as you know, I'm very big on my social justice inclusion pathway. It's a term that's been really watered down. We use the term inclusion confusion. People very much talk about being inclusive and, organizations and things. But when you get there and you meet them and you hear what their version of inclusion is, it's very, very tainted. So I just would love for everybody to be accepted for who they are with the adjustments and things. It's a little bit like a menu in our household. We joke again about if I order a burger, I add things onto it. My husband takes off tomato. Why is the world not like that? Why do we have to have school meetings where we're asking for reasonable adjustments that actually should just be part of the everyday? So my vision and my dream, I guess, would be where people are just accepted for who they are with all the things that they need. And it doesn't have to cost money. There doesn't have to be funding involved in all of the big things that people talk about. Sometimes it's just about being a decent human being and having empathy and compassion and thinking about others. So that's my vision for the world. My vision for my family is that obviously we have our charity, Infinitely Valued. So it's shrinking my world vision back into smaller bite-sized pieces. So we do a lot of the stuff that I've talked about here at Honoured and with Infinitely Valued. And my family are a big part of that. They've lived and breathed disabilities forever. They don't know any different. So that's a very normal part of their everyday. We notice that in the greater world, it's quite a significant adjustment for some people. And I think, oh, come on, hang with us for a little while. We'll take you on our journey.
And I think we need more of that too. It's just that open, clear communication because, disability, it scares people, but if you understand it and you're open to your questions being answered, then it can open a whole new world for you. And I think they need to get out of that being scared of it because it's
Absolutely.
nothing to be scared of. it's just part of a person's identity. It's not, yeah.
It's just a shift in mindset as well. And I think the society is very much to blame, the media, all of that kind of stuff, conditions people. And
Yep.
we seem to just follow along. I do remember one of my mentors when I was studying to be a counsellor, she gave me the Art of Insubordination book. That was probably one of my life-changing moments as well.
I'll go and have a look at it. It sounds like I need to read that one.
So,
Thanks, Nat. We've loved hearing about Honoured and yourself and your family. Let's hope that lots of people sign up to the course and we're ready to run it in October.
absolutely. That's it. Come and hang out with us. We've got lots to share.
We'd love to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
See ya.